This is a reef shark, 8 feet long, a real hunter. She is, in her own small world, at the very top. But the ocean has a rule. There is always something bigger. That diver is 6 feet tall. The shark beside him is 20. And when she turns toward you, the sun goes out. Welcome to the ocean she lives in. Cold, vast, older than anything on the surface. This is the life of a great white shark, feared more than almost any animal alive, and understood far less. Her name, in the language of scientists, is Carcharodon carcharias. In English, the great white shark. Her eye is old. Sharks like her have been swimming these oceans for about 16 million years. Her whole family is older than the Himalayas. She has no bones. Nothing inside her is made of bone. Her whole body is cartilage, lighter, stronger, older than skeleton itself. She weighs as much as a small car. A fully grown female can reach 20 feet from snout to tail. The males are smaller. In her species, it is the females who are the giants. If you met her at the surface, the first thing you would see is her back, a dark charcoal gray, almost black in low light. But underneath, she is white. Snow white, belly to jaw. That is where her name comes from. Not the top, the bottom. She has 300 teeth in her mouth right now, serrated like steak knives, arranged in rows so that when one falls out, another one rolls forward to take its place. Over her lifetime, she will grow and shed more than 30,000 teeth. Every single one is disposable. The factory never stops. Her jaw is not fixed to her skull. It floats on muscles and ligaments. When she bites, she can push it forward, out of her mouth, extending her reach by almost half a foot. Dark on top, white on the bottom. From above, she blends into the deep. From below, she disappears into the sunlit surface. The ocean is painted onto her, both sides of it. The fin on her back is the only part of her you might ever see from a boat. Everything else stays hidden. Her tail is a crescent, nearly symmetrical top to bottom. Built for a single purpose: acceleration. Long cruising speeds and sudden violent bursts. Those tiny pores on her snout are a sense humans do not have. They feel electricity. Every living thing in the water gives off a faint electrical field, a heartbeat, a twitching muscle. She reads them like a map. She can detect a beating heart from a mile away. Not by sound, by the electricity it makes in the water around it. Her sense of smell is almost as good. 2/3 of her brain is devoted to it. One drop of blood in a swimming pool is enough for her to notice. Her eyes are not the eyes of a mindless killer. She can see in color. She can adjust to low light. And when she bites, her eyes roll back in their sockets, white, protective, closed against the thrashing of whatever she has caught. Along each side of her body runs a line of tiny pores called the lateral line. It feels vibration, the wake of a swimming seal, the twitch of a dying fish, from hundreds of yards away. Between her nose, her ears, her eyes, her skin, and the electrical sense, she knows almost everything happening in the water around her. She is not a simple animal. She is a very, very complicated sensor. She lives in the cold water of the world, not the tropics, not the deep equator, the edges. California, South Africa, South Australia, New Zealand, Cape Cod, Japan, the Mediterranean. Anywhere the water is cool and the seals are plenty. Along those coasts, she hunts in shallow water, sometimes only 10 feet below a surfer, sometimes closer than that. She is almost never aggressive. Almost never. She follows the continental shelf. Where the shallow coast drops away into the deep, she patrols the edge. That is where the seals are, and where the small fish gather. She is one of the few creatures that bridges two oceans at once: a coastal hunter, an open water traveler, both in the same animal, in the same week. And everywhere she goes alone. Dawn in the ocean is slow. The light does not break over the surface. It seeps down into the water, minute by minute, until the top 50 feet turn from black to deep blue. The surface warms first. The fish come up to feed on the light. The seals come in to hunt the fish. And somewhere below them, she begins her patrol. She has been moving all night. She never stopped. She cannot stop. If she stops, she cannot breathe. Water has to pass over her gills, constantly, or she runs out of oxygen. Her life is a single, unbroken swim that began the day she was born and ends the day she dies. So she swims, slowly in the gray hours before dawn, conserving everything, waiting for the light. A seal on the surface sees the world from the top down: the sky, the waves, the line of the coast. It does not know what is beneath it. She rises from 60 feet down, straight up, a torpedo. 35 miles an hour by the time she hits the surface. She can launch her entire body clear of the water. 10 feet of air, 4,000 pounds of muscle and tooth, suspended for a moment in sunlight. It is the most spectacular attack in the animal world. And it is over in half a second. She rarely misses, but when she does, she doesn't chase. She returns to the deep, and she tries again somewhere else. Ambush hunters do not waste energy. Then the surface closes over. The foam disperses. If you were in a boat 100 yards away, you would never know it happened. Seals are her main meal. Sea lions, fur seals, young elephant seals when she can catch them. Fat, warm, rich in oil, the perfect fuel for a cold water hunter. When she was younger, she ate fish, schools of sardines, small tuna, mackerel. Her teeth were different then, slender, pointed, made for gripping slippery bodies. Somewhere around 10 feet long, her body changed. Her teeth grew wider, thicker, serrated. Her jaw grew stronger, and she stopped hunting fish. She is one of the few animals in the ocean that completely changes its diet as it grows, from small and slippery to large and warm-blooded. It is called an ontogenetic shift. Scientists call it beautiful. A grown female will eat almost anything warm-blooded: seals, sea lions, dolphins, small whales, even dead whales found floating. A single dead whale can feed her for weeks. What she almost never eats is you. Of all the bites on humans ever recorded, and there have been many, almost every single one was a case of mistaken identity. She took one bite, realized, and left. Her cruising speed is slow, maybe 2 to 5 miles an hour, the pace of a person walking. Most of her day, that is what she is doing: walking the ocean. When she needs to, she can hit 35 miles an hour in a short burst, faster than almost anything in the sea. Her tail does the work. A long, wide crescent, nearly as tall as she is, beating left and right in a slow pendulum when she cruises, and in a violent scythe when she attacks. Her bite is almost 4,000 pounds of force per square inch, enough to crush bone, enough to sever a sea lion in 2 pieces. But she almost never uses it at full force. Most of her hunts are one precise bite and a wait. Let the prey weaken. Come back later when the struggle is over. She is not a mindless machine. She is an efficient one. An animal that has been refining the same hunting strategy for 16 million years. There is something about her that most people do not know. She is partly warm-blooded. Most fish are cold as the water they swim in. Her core, though, her heart, her muscles, her brain, stays up to 25 degrees warmer than the sea around her. She has a network of blood vessels that capture the heat from her own muscles and recycle it back into her body. An internal furnace, a living engine. That is why she can hunt in cold water, 45, 50 degrees, where most fish would be sluggish. She is moving, alert, warm. While the seals shiver, she burns. It is also why she needs so much food. An engine this hot costs fuel. She eats far more than a cold-blooded shark of the same size ever could. There are only a handful of animals in the sea that can do this. She, her cousins the makos, the salmon sharks, a few tuna. A very small club. In late autumn, she does something scientists did not understand for a very long time. She leaves the coast. She turns her nose to the open ocean, and she swims. Thousands of miles, sometimes 2,000, sometimes more. She is not chasing prey. She is not following warm water. Nobody is completely sure what she is doing. Satellite tags have followed her. Year after year, females from California swim all the way out to a spot in the middle of the Pacific, halfway to Hawaii. A blank patch of open sea. The scientists call it the White Shark Café. There is nothing obvious there. No rich feeding grounds, no coastline. Just deep water, and other great whites, doing the same thing she is. They stay for weeks. They dive deep, 3,000 feet down. They rise. They dive again. They circle. Then, in the spring, they turn around and go home. Some scientists think it is a mating ground. Some think it is a memory kept from when the world was younger and there were rich fish there. Nobody really knows. She is keeping her own secret. Out there, in the middle of nothing, she dives deeper than most sharks ever go. 3,000 feet, sometimes 4. The light does not reach her there. The water is black. The pressure would crush a human lung in seconds. For her, it is only another floor of her house. She rises again into the sunlit water near the surface, then dives, then rises. A pattern repeated for weeks. The scientists call it yo-yo swimming. Nobody knows what she is looking for. Around her, the open ocean is almost empty. Schools of tuna sometimes. Pods of dolphins in the distance. A lone sea turtle. And other great whites, pale as ghosts at depth, passing in the blue. The surface, above her, holds the only weather she knows. The sky passing overhead, storms moving east, calm days, night. She is the only large animal most of us will never see in person. She lives in a place we cannot visit, and she likes it that way. When she meets another great white, the meeting is not friendly. But it is rarely a fight. They size each other up. The larger one has the right of way. The smaller one moves aside. It is a very old etiquette. One gesture, one pass, no blood. Researchers watching them from boats have seen them display to each other. A back arch, a gaped mouth, a raised fin. Signals, warnings. Polite disagreements in a language without sound. When a whale carcass is floating on the open ocean, she may share it with 3 or 4 other whites. Each one takes her turn. Each one keeps her distance. It is almost civil. Between those meetings, she is alone. She might go weeks without seeing another shark her size. Her day, mostly, is just her and the water. Solitude is the basic condition of her life. It is not lonely. Loneliness requires wanting company. She is built for silence. She was born in shallow, warm water, somewhere along the coast, about 30 years ago. Her mother carried her for more than a year, maybe a year and a half, the longest known shark pregnancy. Inside, she grew from an egg the size of a coin into a 4-foot shark with a full set of teeth. The day she was born, her mother did not stay. Great white mothers never do. The pups slide out into the warm shallows, already hunting, already armed, already alone. There are usually 2 to 10 of them in a litter. Very few survive. The ocean is unforgiving to a newborn, even a newborn with teeth. For the first years of her life, she stayed in warm, shallow waters, nurseries along the California and Mexico coasts, or the edge of the Mediterranean, or Australia's eastern bays. She ate fish. She hid from larger sharks. She grew slowly, very slowly. Sharks her species take decades to grow up. She would not become an adult female, able to have pups of her own, until she was past 30. In the summer of 1975, a movie came out in American theaters. It was about a great white shark that ate swimmers off a small beach town. The movie was very good and very, very scary. It made more money than anything that had ever been released, and it changed the way an entire species saw her. After that summer, people stopped swimming. Beach towns emptied. Shark fishermen went out in numbers that had never been seen, killing whatever they could find. Not for meat, not for conservation, for revenge. The man who wrote the book spent the rest of his life regretting it. He had not meant to teach the world to hate her. He had only meant to tell a story. But the fear stuck. Long after the movie stopped playing, the image stayed. A black fin, a row of teeth, water going red. She did not earn that reputation. She inherited it from a story someone else told about her. Every year in the entire world, about 70 people are bitten by sharks of any kind. Of those, maybe 5 or 6 die. That is the total for every species combined. Great whites, tigers, bulls, all of them. More people die from falling coconuts. More die from cows. More die, every year, from taking pictures of themselves near cliffs. Researchers have dived with her for decades now. Cage-free, open water. One hand on her side, one on her fin. She has let them. She has been curious. She has not attacked. The bites that do happen are almost all what scientists call exploratory. She has no hands. Her only way to investigate something strange in the water is her mouth. A surfboard from below looks very much like a seal. She comes up to check. She bites once, a test bite, not a killing bite. And she realizes almost instantly that this is not food. The problem is that she is so large, so strong, that even one test bite can be fatal. Not because she meant harm, because she is enormous and we are soft. Her family is very old, 16 million years at minimum, long before the first humans walked upright. And her family once had a giant among it, Carcharodon megalodon, 60 feet long, teeth the size of a human hand, the largest predator that ever swam any ocean on Earth. Megalodon is gone. About 3.5 million years ago, the oceans cooled, and the whales it hunted moved to colder water, and it could not follow. It disappeared. She is not a direct descendant. Her branch of the family tree split off from the Megalodon line long before Megalodon was born. But they shared the same world for a while. She is what is left. The largest predatory fish now in the sea. The inheritor of an ancient, patient empire. Everything about her is a living museum. Her cartilage, her teeth replacement system, her warm core, her electrical sense. All of it was working long before any mammal had figured out what it meant to be alive. She remembers faces. She remembers boats. Divers who study her have come back year after year, and she recognizes them. By scent, by electrical field, by some combination nobody fully understands. Individual great whites have personalities. Some are bold, some are shy. Some will approach a boat, others will never come within 50 feet of one. She can be trained. Not in a circus way, but aquariums and field researchers have shown she can learn, remember, and change her behavior based on experience. She sleeps, in her way. She does not close her eyes. Her tail keeps moving. But her brain activity slows, her hunting drops off, and she drifts in a slower current, a kind of resting while swimming that we do not really have a word for. She is, in short, a thinking animal. Not a machine, not a monster. A very old, very patient, very careful animal. She knows her world better than anyone else in it, and she has been here far longer than we have. About 100 million sharks are killed by humans every year, almost all of them for their fins. A soup ingredient. Great whites are not the most common victim. They are rarer than almost any other shark, but they are caught anyway, incidentally, in nets, on long lines, because they look valuable and because no one is stopping anyone. In the last 50 years, her species has declined dramatically, in some oceans by 70%. The scientists count them carefully, one fin at a time, one tagged female at a time. There are maybe a few thousand adult females left in the entire world. She is listed as vulnerable. Some places she is protected: California, Australia, South Africa. No hunting, no fishing, no bounties. In those waters, very slowly, her numbers are starting to climb again. It turns out that when you leave her alone, she does just fine. She does not need us to feed her, or cage her, or manage her. She only needs us to stop. She has been here for 16 million years. The question is whether she will still be here in another 100. The light on the surface turns gold. The sun moves sideways through the water. The fish that feed in the heat of the day begin to settle, slowly, into the deeper places. She moves closer to the coast. The kelp forests are cooling. The seals are returning to their beaches. She patrols the drop-off, the line where shallow turns into deep. It is not a hunt, exactly. Not yet. It is closer to a walk, a slow, unhurried cruise along a familiar path. Her tail beats once every 2 seconds. Her gills pump quietly. She is saving energy. Ready, but not urgent. The water turns from blue to violet. The shadows of the kelp lengthen. Somewhere up above, a surfer is paddling in. A fisherman is turning his boat toward home. She barely notices. Her world does not change when ours does. Her day and her night are the same water. Only the light is different. Sharks like her do not sleep the way we do. They cannot. If they stopped swimming, they would stop breathing, and they would sink to the bottom and die. So she does something else. She rests inside her own motion. Her brain slows, her heart slows, her body keeps moving. She drifts into a current and lets the current do some of the work. She dives into a deeper, colder layer and lets the cold slow her down. She swims in circles, wide and patient, while her mind winds down. Above her, the sky goes dark. The moon comes up. The stars come out, though she will never see them. And she just keeps swimming. Slow, calm, patient. A giant that cannot stop, resting the only way she knows how. Rest well. The ocean is dark. Somewhere in it, a very old animal is moving, gently, through the deep. Not asleep, not awake. Only alive. Only home.